Welcome to Killer Cuts and Sick Tapes.
Hey, welcome to Killer Cut Sick Tapes. I am here with my man Matt, and we are going to go over Kevin Gates' Stranger Than Fiction. Yes, Kevin Gates' Stranger Than Fiction.
I would say it is not an apt title.
No,
No, he. I think he
no.
like anything else, please.
I think the reason why he chose that is because that's when like Stranger Things was blowing up, right? Remember that on Netflix when it just started coming out,
Oh
and
yeah.
he was trying to ride the wave, man.
Okay. Maybe. Like when I
Well,
like when I think Stranger Than Fiction. Do you know what I think?
what's that?
Bad Religion.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And
So it's like I get that he would not be aware of the 90s
I see. I
Bad
don't know though.
Religion album.
Like for
Probably.
instance, like we were talking pre-show. Like I was a huge Kevin Gates hater
Yeah.
until I saw him in an interview, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he deals with his depression and anxiety. But then I also saw an interview that he did on Shade 45 on the Rude Jude show, and it was called "Hello from the Other Side."
Hmm.
And Rude Jude's like, "Hey, what are you listening to right now? Like, what's your song?" He's like, "Adele." You know, he's a huge Taylor Swift fan. Like, he wants to make music with Taylor Swift. Like that's
I get
like,
it. I can understand that. I guess I'm talking specifically because while it's well known in punk circles, Stranger Than Fiction as an album, like I think more people would probably be aware of like How Could Hell Be Any Worse, more than likely, or
yeah, I see what
Suffer,
you're saying.
or
Yeah,
like
I see what you're saying.
that's it. Like Stranger Than Fiction did have their most uh popular hit Infected, but most people didn't even realize it was about AIDS. So I don't even know what people picked up on.
Right.
Like
The one,
literally,
the
the song is about AIDS.
right.
Like nobody picked up on it. Like
But like I said, like I hated Kevin Gates until I saw him speak and realized how like intelligent he was, and because if you think about it, like we also when we were talking pre-show before we get to the album
yeah,
itself, is hip hop took a really weird turn to where um the songs that they play on the radio were not as good as the rest of the album, and so the only like
yeah,
verification that I had on Kevin Gates was what they played me on the radio. And I was like, well, he just sounds like everybody else.
yeah. Which I mean is it's a fair assessment, especially in his earlier catalog. You know.
Oh yeah. And this is somewhat early, but it was after he got out of prison in 2011, and like you had mentioned, which I didn't know, is that it was probably a rush job
Mm-hmm.
to get him out of his Atlantic contract.
Yeah. Which I mean, whatever. You do what you got to do, man. Right.
Right. And I mean, but like we're gonna talk about like some of these songs are really good,
Uh,
and some of them didn't need to make it
And some of these, I believe, kind of just don't. The biggest problem is they're on the same album.
because they sound exactly the same.
And why would I like that's the thing. It's like if you were going for like a specific thing where it'd be like two B sides of something back to back, maybe like the idea of that concept, but it's like
I mean, yeah,
nah.
like that might have been part of the thing, but you don't know because he's never talked about it.
Yeah.
And we both agree that his feature selection, artist feature selection, is pretty trash.
Oh, incredibly. He
I
does.
mean,
He. That's the thing. He is loyal to his friends to a fault. I think.
I think so. I think
Which
you
is
know what
not
I
the
think
worst
so
thing in
until
the world.
until recently, right? Like, um,
Yeah.
I think that because he had said recently in an interview that the only people that he goes anywhere with is his wife,
Mm-hmm.
his children, and OG. Booby, Black.
Mhm.
Those are the only people that he hangs out with, like, period. And if you looked at like future works after Stranger Than Fiction, it was there was less features on it.
Oh, absolutely. Like they just went
So,
down
but I really thought we needed to talk about this one just to get in that mindset, because I think this is when he turned a corner
Mhm.
to where he started to do things that he wanted to do and not things that he was told to do.
Well, here's the thing. It's like he is a southern hip hop artist whose vocals do not sound like a southern hip hop artist to me.
Absolutely not.
And I think they kept trying to make him do it. Where they kept on like trying to give him things with a little R&B to it, and you're like, stop it. He
Right.
does not have that range, and he doesn't appear to want to do it either. So
Right.
like they even the lines don't seem written as well, so it's like that's the thing. A lot of labels seem to like shy away from just hard albums though, so maybe that's part of
Right.
it.
Yeah, I think a lot of that. So
And
what?
and I do want to point out this is a mixtape, but in hip hop, no one knows what that means anymore.
Right.
I remember when mixtape was you can't legally sell this because the beats are from somewhere else.
Right. So and that's like, I know it's called a mixtape. So like if you really think about it, Gates has only done 2 real albums,
Mhm.
and the rest of them have been like quote unquote mixtapes, but they're really not mixtapes because they're not other people's beats. They're beats that he had purchased or borrowed
Yeah.
and sold.
Yeah, so it's just this weirdness. No, I think that's a real issue in hip hop is we need to the thing about mixtapes is it needs to stop being a slang term for just like B-sides and EPs.
Right. Yeah.
Put out fucking regular EPs and singles and people will be happier with you. Period.
Yeah. People outside, even inside and outside of the culture, will be happier with you. Because if you think mixtape, you're automatically thinking, what is he going to sound like on this Kanye West beat?
Yeah.
Or what, you know what I'm saying? And then when you find out that it's not that.
You're like, so why is it a mixtape?
Right, exactly.
You're like, I was willing to purchase this with real money.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Like, because think about it, mixtapes have always been kind of a guilt-free thing, I think,
Yeah.
too.
Because
Like,
they were free.
yeah, that was the idea. So, it's just... And now they're not even free, so I don't even know what they want anymore.
Right? But they're not real mixtapes. Like, if you think about it, like we through Caskies a few months ago, and that was not a real mixtape either.
I'd argue that Yellow Wolf's mixtapes are more like albums than his albums.
Right? I don't know, man. Like,
I'm just saying, like, they feel more cohesive, at least.
well, Love Story was probably the most cohesive album he ever made.
Yeah.
Love Story.
But, like, Radioactive is not cohesive.
No, but that was the first one that Eminem had his hands in too, though, right?
Yeah, like, just, I'm not,
Eminem's a good artist. I don't know if he's a good fucking. I don't know if he's a good fucking, like, dude to do album creation with, right?
yeah. Well, that's the
'Cause
thing. You're like, how long did him and Dre cook on some of that shit?
Well, you know what? You know what's funny about Eminem, and I always get people like not. So I'm not talking like the last album, which was Music to Be Murdered By, or even Kamikaze.
Mhm.
But if you look at the last before those two, because I didn't look at the credits of those, but if you look at the last, like all of Eminem's work, Dr. Dre only produced 10 tracks. 10
Yeah.
out of
but-
all of it.
Well,
So basically, he was just a head, a name a figurehead to help him explode in the beginning. But I think after, I don't know,
Well, you
probably,
you know how it works though. It's Dre's stable.
yeah.
It's that's more what it's about at this point.
But I have an argument that I think Eminem could have been just as successful after the first after the Slim Shady EP without Dre than he was with Dre, because he had already made a name at that point.
I think yeah, he could have been, but I also think those albums would have suffered.
Yeah, without Dre backing him.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I think they would have suffered to
well,
feel
because he
like
probably
I feel like a lot of people like that's the thing. A lot fewer people called him out than he thought was calling him out. I think at all times. I think he
Oh, yeah,
actually would have been completely 100% on if he wouldn't have had Dre backing him up.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that for sure.
Yeah.
I'll buy that. So anyway, back to Strangers with Fiction.
All right.
You said that there was like 5 or 6 songs that you said should have made an EP and the rest could have went. I am dying to hear your 5 because we did not speak about it.
All right. First, I like Four Legs and a Biscuit.
A jam, I like that.
It is, yeah, it is a really good intro track,
I think so too. I think so as well. Like
and
that was good.
it gives you a flavor of okay, this is what Kevin Gates can be like. All right.
On this project. This is where he's
Yeah.
gonna be. Yep.
Yeah. All right. All right. Then we go straight to 4:30 a.m.
Wow, you skipped Get 'Em?
Yeah.
I get it. We'll get to that in a second.
Get him.
I like 4:30 in the morning, 4:30 a.m.
Okay. Can I tell you that Get 'Em, a lot of my problem is on the production side more than with Gates.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah. 'Cause
Like that is not one of like his it's not one of David A. Doman's better beats. Like
Oh yeah, by far.
like he's put out way like he did Godzilla. Like he can put
Right.
it out there when he wants to do real hard knockers.
Yeah.
He really wasn't feeling himself. And we both can say this Starlito thing, while it's nice he brought his homie on, it's not a
No, MYB, no. That could have.
and I know you like White Tan more than I do. I think that 4:30 knocks out the need for White Tan.
Oh no, there's no 100%. 100% no. If they would have separated it on the project, maybe
Like-
put
Yeah.
White Tan at like say 12 or 13,
Like
and then put 4:30 a.m. at like 3, but they, like you had said, they sound very much alike and they're back to back.
and honestly the like I was saying like with White Tan I feel like if he would have gone this is going to be a poll but I think you're going to get it. If he would have gone heavier than Cherubs on it, he could have pulled it off.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like I don't know how many people know that Cage album.
I do very much. When you said Cherubs, I was like, yep, I know exactly what you're talking
Like
about there.
if he would have evoked that kind of thing instead of what we've come to more associate with normal trap music these days.
Yep.
I think it could have justified it.
I dig it. I dig that.
Then Die About It. That's a good song.
That's a great song. Hey, way to bring Cage into Kevin Gates discussion, by the way.
Honestly, they both have they're very intense guys.
Very much so, and they deal with a lot of the same shit mentally.
Oh yeah. Now, honestly, I don't know whether they would get along or try and kill each other.
Probably combination of both. I guess it depended on how Cage would feel about the success that Gates had.
Yeah. Or vice
Because
versa.
honestly,
Vice versa, honestly.
Because honestly, I think Cage wants to be famous more than Kevin Gates does. I think Kevin Gates just wants money so he can take care of his family. I think Cage wants to be noticed and known.
He does. He
more
doesn't.
so than he wants the money.
Yeah, no, he doesn't give a fuck about the money part. He went to sign with Def Jux back in the day if he gave a fuck about the actual money.
Right?
He would have stuck.
Yeah,
He would have stuck with fucking Eastern Conference. Like, come on.
yeah, but Eastern Count, yeah, but they just they're shady.
Oh no, I
Eastern-
know. I'm just saying, like, if it was all about money, though, he would have. He
Yeah,
would have. Like, nobody thought LP's little venture was going to work.
right.
Nobody. So like, after that,
so-
after Die About It, I went straight to Thinking with My Dick. Honestly, I think that
Yeah, because stroking and thinking with my dick are the same song too.
they are not. Stroking It is way more masturbatory, and
Yeah,
honestly, it just is. Without the Juicy J feature, like I can't justify it being fun. Like it feels like he's Kevin Gates is just there, standing in front of you, jerking off, kind of a little bored.
right. But so this is one thing I know about fucking. I realized about Kevin Gates as watching and listening to him in every one of his albums. He has like 2 songs where he is talking about nasty, freaky shit.
Which is fine, which is why I put one on there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's
I
why I
am
said,
not deny like also I'm Arthur MacArthur's beat is better, just simply better than Done Deals on that.
Oh yeah, that thing with my dick beat is awesome.
Like that's a
It's a
banger.
banger.
That's a banger and a half right there. Just
Right.
boom. Which
Right,
is,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is what
yeah.
you need for that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
song specifically. But, like that's the thing. I feel bad when like people are like, "Oh, you probably shouldn't like call out the people who do the production," but it's like I'm just
No.
mentioning the people who do it. It's like
No, that is the most important part because people need to know that.
yeah, it's like Done Deal also did Tiger, so it's like I didn't put Tiger on here, but I don't hate the beats for Tiger.
No, the beat's good. I just like when he's like, "I'm a tiger," like that was kind of like.
Corny.
But the thing is that that's my son's favorite song, so
Yeah.
I'm forced to listen to it like constantly. And he's 6.
And it's weird enough you let your son listen to Kevin Gates with you.
Hey, I let all my kids listen to hip hop. Like this is what we do.
No,
right?
I'm talking specifically like Kevin Gates nasty freaky shit.
Oh no! I create playlists
All right,
to
all right.
where he doesn't get to like he hasn't heard like thinking with my dick or stroking or me too or any of those nasty
Or
ones. Like
Money Magnets.
no. He doesn't. I don't let him listen to any of that.
Like
Like, I let him listen.
Money Magnet and Careful are filthy as fuck.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I don't let him listen to or my girls when they were that age listen to like nasty freaky stuff. Like I always create a playlist to where I would somewhat protect their ears, I guess. I mean, granted, Tiger's kind of a gangster track, but
that's the thing. It's like there's a difference between that and going the full The Weekend on you.
right. They don't get to listen to that either.
Yeah, not yet.
No. I mean my girls are,
They probably
16 or
are. Like I
17,
mean,
like I can't stop what they listen to.
I mean, yeah, they all. I mean, The Weeknd is like one of the hottest artists in the last decade. They easily
Talking
have.
about cocaine in every one of his songs. I love it.
Not true. He's also
Well,
talking about cough syrup.
But yeah, syrup, but a lot of
Like-
yeah, no, but it's about drugs. Every
Drugs
song is
and-
about drugs.
Well, all of it's about drugs and bad sex.
Right, yeah.
Which,
we're gonna have to go over one of his fucking.
well,
albums.
we'll have to talk to Trill because Trill's a huge Weekend head.
Yeah, for sure.
So on that,
Is he from Canada?
Trill?
Yeah,
No.
because the Weeknd's from Toronto with Drake.
Yeah, I know. But that's the thing. It's like no. Trill's in Kansas City, I think.
Oh, really? I bet he's a huge Tech Nine fan.
I don't think so, actually.
What?
He's really out there with this like selection.
But
Like,
so, you know what though? I get that because there's a lot of people in Michigan and Detroit area that do not like Eminem. solely because he's from Detroit and Michigan.
And honestly, it's just too much exposure. It happens.
Yeah, it's all day, every day, right?
All right. So, and the last song I put on here was Smiling Faces.
Wow. No, I love Smiling Faces. That is a great song. That's one of my favorite songs in this whole project.
Honestly, to me, it's Smiling Faces is what ended up making him in current form. Because because he literally
100%.
he met the producers, the Featherstones, through this song.
Right.
Which is who he works with the most now.
Right, yeah.
And they were literally trying to match him specifically with this track. This isn't some pre-made beat where it's like, okay, you can do this. Like, no, this is one where they're like, we really wanted to try and match him.
Right, yeah, and it worked, and then it worked in the future, and it continued to work.
Yeah.
We still have to go over Satellites, because that was the radio song.
Was it?
Yeah, this was the radio. Satellites was the radio song. That is what actually catapulted Kevin Gates to stardom. Was Satellites, featuring Wiz Khalifa. That was the radio song, brother. As sad as that sounds. Trash can, especially with the Wiz Khalifa version. The version without Wiz Khalifa, I think, is 10 times better, maybe even 1,000 times better.
But that's still not good. It's still not good.
Right. No. I know it was even if you talk to Kevin Gates fans, like, we hate Satellites. It's like our least favorite song that he's ever done. But for some reason, it made it on the radio and it was successful.
That's the thing. A lot of this, what you wanted to defend the most about this album was the more personal songs. This is the most impersonal song on here. Period.
Absolutely. It was for the radio and the radio only.
Yeah, like Satellites has no, like it feels nothing like him to me.
No, not even close. Like, Careful was a bad track. Money Magnet was a bad track.
Like, if it's bad, I will just say it, and I'll be fine. But it's like, no, this one it simply doesn't feel like him at all.
No, it seemed like if I didn't understand that Kevin Gates like really took pride and wrote his own shit, like I would think that somebody else wrote that song.
I think he would feel better if he said people tend to feel like Michael Jackson reincarnated. I think he'd feel better about himself at this point.
Right.
That's the things you shouldn't say out loud 101.
Right. So speaking of Michael Jackson, this is crazy though. Michael Jackson was born August 29th, like 1950 or something, right?
I don't know.
August 29th, 1950.
Something like that.
I was born August 29th, 1982.
Okay.
Hey, famous people born on the same day. It happens. I'm next. Yeah.
That's not how statistics work.
I understand. and a lot of people are like, bro, I wouldn't tell people that you and Michael Jackson were born on the same day. I'm like, why? He was a pop icon. But he did. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But
I do think that we need to let The Weeknd fully take Michael Jackson's place at this point.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Let's do that. So we can just stop having the discussion.
Absolutely.
I like this. This is
so.
I mean, Blinded by the Lights is essentially just a fucking Michael Jackson song.
That is a great song.
Yeah, but we will. All right, All right. I want to know what made you specifically do Stranger Than Fiction.
The reason why I chose Stranger Than Fiction is because I wanted to let people know that this was like the changing point in Gates. Okay. This is where like he stopped caring what anybody else thought and started making music for himself.
Okay, so basically you can see where he just stopped trying to please his label.
Yes.
At all. which
Like, yeah,
like honestly I can see that. Like everything after it is better.
yeah, by far. Like this is so. The things before this were label
Yeah.
driven albums,
Yeah.
and then somewhere in between, like while making this album, he was like, you know what, fuck it, like I need to do what I need to do, and that's why I chose Stranger Than Fiction. I could have easily have picked I'm Him or
Yeah. That's what I really wanted to know cuz it's like you're like is it personal to you? Is it like something like that? Like that's the thing. It's like well,
so very a lot of it's very personal, like Smiling Faces, one
yeah.
probably both of our favorite songs on there. Like I understand that, like totally. Like you got to watch out who you let into your circle because they try and hurt you. You know what I'm
Remind
saying?
me yeah, the lyrics reminded me of League of Extraordinary Nobodies by on the LP I'll Sleep When You're Dead.
Yep.
Where he's doing the whole thing where he's like I literally can't tell what's going on anymore. I am just that high out of my mind. And
Right.
I don't like you don't know whether to laugh at this song or not, and I don't either.
Right. And
Like,
and the Smiling Faces to me is like
yeah.
he doesn't know who he like at that point he didn't know who was on his team, who wasn't on his team, and he had to do basically a complete restart.
No, that's no, I totally I can completely respect a lot of that. Like and like I said, I can respect the amount of like opening up he does. Like
Oh,
he
absolutely.
he lets his thoughts out even when he shouldn't. And
Oh, by far, absolutely.
which is fine. Like as an artist, you're going to do that.
You have to.
Yeah.
It makes you more original. It makes you more genuine. Like people want to know about you specifically.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at his
Art.
genius right now. I'm looking at Kevin Gates smiling, and it's kind of freaking me out.
Oh, the Carry On stuff. Carry On.
No, no, Kevin Gates on Genius, where it's just him
Oh,
smiling. I'm like, Kevin Gates shouldn't smile. He doesn't seem like a
right.
smiler.
But hey, he's living a good life now.
Is he? I don't know.
I follow him, right? Like I
Yeah,
follow him,
yeah,
just because I got a lot of respect for him because of his his interviews and how he speaks and how
yeah.
intelligent he is. Even more so than the music, honestly.
Yeah. Which I can totally understand that. There's definitely artists that you learn to appreciate more through their personality than their art, which can happen.
Right.
I mean, it can happen.
But then their art starts singing to you, starts speaking to you because you see you can read between the lines quicker and
Yeah,
better
yeah.
and see what they're trying to say. Like, but every single one of the songs that you picked on here would be the ones that I would be like, "Yep, that's it."
Like that's
Like,
that's the thing. It's like I need to know I'm not completely off base just because I'm not a southern hip hop head. It's like no, I get it. I get what sounds good on here. There's just a lot that they could have done without. There's a lot that they
absolutely.
should just have diluted into maybe a full album like in 2 years later.
Yeah,
It
I honestly think this is when he was this was the last album that he needed to do for Atlantic, I think, wasn't it?
yeah, well it was yeah, it was the last one.
Yeah,
So,
this was the last Atlantic one, and then he ended up going on his own. He was in talks with Cash Money and Young Money to sign with them, but they said his he was a risk because of his you know uh 2 strikes, 3 strikes, go to prison for life stuff,
well, not well, which is funny coming from them.
right?
Like, really, you're going to judge me?
Exactly.
Young Money, Cash
Right.
Money, you guys.
Oh yeah. Oh, I get it. I'm
like,
with it.
yeah,
But then he said, in an interview, he also said that while he was meeting with Baby and Lil Wayne and even Slim and all those guys, like he realized that he would be much better off creating his own lane
Yeah.
and creating his own brand. Like he learned how to brand
Yeah.
through that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like none of them. Like I can't imagine him getting along with any of the Cash Money or Young Money artists like as like a featured guy on a lot of their tracks.
Oh yeah, you couldn't see Drake and Kevin Gates. You couldn't see Nicki and Kevin Gates.
I can't even
You
see.
couldn't see Lil Wayne and Kevin Gates really. Like they don't mesh.
Maybe. I could. I think I could see that. I think it would depend on the beat. Like that one's very beat dependent.
So those two more so than any of them.
Like, yeah.
And that's just because they grew up in the same area. But the rest of them, like, they didn't. Like, Little Twist is from Texas. You know, like,
Well,
none
Mac,
of the other
Mac
ones.
Main is also Louisiana.
Yeah, but he's got that. Yeah,
It's also Mac Main, right?
yeah, right. Like, like, if it was Kevin Gates featuring Mac Main, maybe. But anything else, no,
Yeah.
it couldn't have done. And honestly, I think Gates is
He's not really conducive to a lot of features.
no, and he's very I don't think his ego will let him. Like we were talking ego, and even though he doesn't have a bad ego, I just think his ego won't let him become friendly with other people.
Yeah, that's possible. Just personality in general, like paranoia over the years, just damage.
Yeah,
Yeah, not really ego, just damage over the years accrued. you
right.
know.
I dig it.
Like I said, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like I was looking at the All Music. This has a 4 out of 5 star on All Music, and I'm like, that's way too high.
So I think that the fact that you had Four Legs and a Biscuit, 4:30 a.m., Smiling Faces, and technically a song we didn't talk about, don't know what to call it. On there, I think that boosted its star power on how people thought of it, because those
Yeah.
songs were exceptional.
They are, but as a mixtape, it's not a 4 out of 5.
No,
Not as
no,
not as a
I agree
project.
with you. I agree with you
Like
on a
if we
mixtape.
were doing this completely isolated track by track on everything, it'd be like, oh yeah, no, we just completely disregard anything we disliked, and then it's not really honest. You know?
Right. No, like if we went through a track for track, let me see. One in my opinion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 out of 14. It should have got like a 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah. So yours is a half, and mine is a third of the basically of the track list.
Right.
So.
But I think that like I had just said, like the songs that were there that were good,
Yeah.
were way better than it was better than the ones that were bad. So I would give it a 3 out of 5, I guess. Because,
I
those,
give it
like-
I give it like a 2.5 just as a mixtape. Like that's the thing. I don't rank mixtapes as albums that much in my head. I think just because otherwise it's too complicated. You know?
No, I get it. I understand totally.
Because
I understand.
otherwise you're like, okay, do I have to rank this by the same rules as somebody who's been like laboring over a concept album for like 10 years? Because that
Yeah,
just
no,
doesn't
you
seem
can't.
right.
No, and see that's the thing about like hip hop and other genres, right? Like they just create and create and create and create and create because that's all they do, right? And it's easy because there's so many quote unquote beat makers
Mhm.
out there making beats out of, and they're just giving them the artists. So artists are taking them and recording, like for instance, I have friends of mine who have like 500-600 song catalogs, and you might hear a third of it in their career.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Which
I mean, they might.
Which is very not the case when you come to like rock singles or alternative singles or anything else.
Because you can, it's a whole different labor. Because you're writing like with hip hop, it's one person.
Yeah.
With a rock band, you have 3 to 5 people that you have got to be on the same page with.
Yeah.
on every single song.
Unless you are actively working with your producer like every fucking day. Which,
Right.
like, let's face it, not everybody does.
Oh no, that's for sure. Like one of the people's top fives, Biggie Smalls didn't do that.
Yeah. I actually wanted to mention. Do you know who I've actually gained a better understanding of lyrics through? Is actually Screwface Jean. Strangely enough, I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah. But what did it?
No. Just because he started describing Biggie doing his basically one like multiple rhymes in like one line, the way he did it
Mhm.
in couplets
Yep.
within itself, and like I just didn't know that much about that part. You know,
Oh yeah.
with the
You know who?
like having the slangs with it,
Yep.
because and then using your accent to your advantage, it's just not something that prioritized that much. In
Right.
most
And
of
then
what I
if you
listen to.
the person who mastered that was Eminem. Actually, if you go back and listen to some Eminem, you'll get a greater appreciation
No, I
for
understand. I
his
understand that.
songwriting ability.
No, I'm just saying like it's like no, he definitely. Well, like you can tell when he tacked on some of his hick accent sometimes, and I always wondered if he was trying to re-rhyme things.
Right.
Now, looking back, because no,
You see it.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
interesting. Like, no, I definitely appreciate learning more about all of this stuff. Honestly,
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Hip hop's wild, man.
it
It's
is.
a whole different animal, man.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that there's people who don't just like. I appreciate people like you because you don't just like push it to the side because it's not your quote unquote bag, but everything's your bag, and that's how I
Yeah.
am. Like I'll listen
I will
as long as it
probably
sounds good.
I will probably listen to Smiling Faces and 4:30 a.m. a couple more times. I don't know when this will come back in my rotation, but I had fun with it and I thought it was good. That's
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
matters.
yeah, exactly. Like for instance, like I still listen to Kesha,
Yeah, that happens to me too.
and I'm like, why am I do like it's on a playlist, and I'm like, oh my god, like I love this
I
song, and I'm like,
forgot why I put it here. Oh right.
yeah, that's why, and I'm like, oh my god, or even there's so many things that you guys have put me onto that
Yeah.
or you put me onto, and I'm like, huh. I mean, some of them I knew, like your B Dolans and stuff like that. Like I've always listened to them, kind of, but it was always like in the back, like when there was nothing coming up.
Yeah, it was.
But lately, it's on playlist.
No, that's the thing, and I think a lot of it has to do with the reaction genre becoming a thing. Is people
Right,
are going back through people's old catalogs. I've been watching this guy react to Aesop Rock's old stuff and just losing his goddamn mind.
right.
It's
Oh
great.
yeah,
And it's because nobody fucking sounds like Aesop Rock.
not even close. Not even close.
And that's not an indictment of
Cage-
other rappers. He
Cage
just
is
does.
so different too, right?
Yeah, none of those guys sound normal. They
I wish
they were.
Cage would have made it bigger for his sake and for our sake, because we would have got more out of it.
Well, I mean, he's still working.
Oh no, yeah. He just dropped an album a couple months ago, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. And he does like weird shit like Sam Hill, where he just goes fuck it and just puts out an album under another name because he's bored. I don't know.
Right, or the one of my. I didn't think I would appreciate the song, but the song "Beat Kids"
Oh yeah, that is some gnarly
off
ass
of
shit.
Elephants. I'm like, what? And he's got a song called "Beat Kids," but then when you listen to it, it makes complete sense.
Oh yeah, no, the entire "Depart From Me" album is fucking like. I watched somebody react to actually,
The
I
video with Shia LaBeouf.
yeah, and not understand. They're like, "Who is this guy? Why did he make this video?"
It's like, well, you gotta listen to his old music to understand. But the whole stalking a chick part through the whole city of New York, a little creepy to me, but
But
I appreciated it.
I mean, dude, I listened to fucking like, I listen to Cannibal Corpse. I'm not gonna fucking judge.
I get it.
I can't honestly sit here and say I don't enjoy Brother Lynch Hung. I love his shit. It's great.
Right? No, I get it.
So but it's like watching people who aren't exposed at all to this is just. So I'm just saying, like, I appreciate that it's bringing people into people's back catalogs.
Yeah. No, that was part of what I wanted, because originally I had picked "I'm Him" by Kevin Gates because it was the newest one, right?
Yeah.
And or it was one of the ones that I wanted to talk about. And then I changed my mind to this one because it had more of a career-changing significance.
Yeah. Now this is
And hopefully it would get people to, who didn't like Kevin Gates or who was not a Kevin Gates fan, to look back and be like, wow, all right, I was seeing this all wrong.
Yeah, no, we can respect this. This is not just some dude being vile for the sake of being vile. There's a purpose here.
Yes.
He's actually trying to say something, even if he's not doing it well currently at the exact moment. There's something here. Right,
exactly.
Which, I mean, I think everybody has a lot of that shit too. Like,
so this is the show that we're doing the new format, right?
Yeah.
Where we have 8 albums on a wheel and we pick the one that.
Yeah. Which is gonna be all sorts of fun. So I'm bringing that up on my screen. Fuck, it changed again.
Hey, technology's a beast.
No, stop it. I hate you.
This is cool though, so I'll explain it while you're working on it. We figured out, like, we were going back and forth with projects and stuff that we want to talk about, and then Matt came up with this idea to where we talk about
okay.
There was eight projects, 4 from each, on like a wheel of death, and wherever the wheel of death stops at, that's the project that we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
On the next Killer Tapes and Sick Cuts, which is fantastic. Great idea, because going back and forth gets a little stressful. It does.
Because you want to either one up each other, you want to give each other a break. You're thinking too much. And you're not enjoying.
A little bit of randomness.
Yeah.
Might help.
All right. So it came up with one when I accidentally clicked it, but I'm not going to count that. So, is that all right? It's actually my pick, but one of my picks. But all right. So I'm going to click that now. And here we go. Round and round. Covering my face. Acid bath when the kite string pops.
Acid bath it is.
Now, how much do you know about acid bath?
Not a single thing, to be completely honest with you.
How familiar are you with sludge metal?
With sponge metal?
Sludge.
Sludge metal? To be honest, not very much. So this will be epic. So it's called Acid Bath.
Yes.
Hold on. Oh my God, I just ripped through the paper. Acid Bath. What's the album title?
When the kite string pops, you'll know because it has an actual picture of Pogo the Clown that they got from John Wayne Gacy that they used in an album cover.
They used John Wayne Gacy as an album cover. I already like it. I'm already a fan.
It's too
because I am a serial killer fan. I am a serial killer fanboy.
No, like it's in it. Like they are what I would call sludge metal is a fusion of stoner metal, industrial metal, and hardcore music. So it's with a little bit of doom to it. So it's like it's slow, but it's the most depressing kind of shit to it. Like I can't like sludge is the perfect name.
So I got a question then.
Okay.
Is the vocals real like?
No, actually, they are a lot different.
All right, good, because the reason I have a hard time with death metal is because of like the screaming stuff.
No, there is some screaming on here, but it's intelligible.
Okay.
No.
Hey, I got a question for you real quick while we're at it. I noticed your shirt. What does your shirt stand for? Your t-shirt?
Oh, it's actually just the WASD, like on a keyboard.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like,
what the fuck's that?
I'm like, that looks great. I got to see what that is all about.
Yeah, no, sludge. Sludge is just something I want to get out there more, just because it's just underappreciated genre. It's also one of the few, like almost purely southern forms of metal.
Ooh, okay.
Like,
All right.
which is like, I'm sure to you, you're like, that's odd. Like, not all of them are from there. Like, some of the precursors, like the Melvins, aren't from there. But
Right.
like,
I've heard of them actually.
but like, Down is like super southern. I mean, that's Phil Anselmo from Pantera.
Yeah.
So, like, if you can understand Pantera, you'll understand most of sludge.
Okay.
Sludge
Yeah,
metal
yeah,
in general.
yeah, I get it.
You got like I Hate God and 16 and like some like it. You have to get into some of the really gnarly shit before you can't understand it anymore.
Right.
But now Acid Bath, I wanted to pick specifically because they only have 2 albums.
Okay.
Yeah, because let's face it, it isn't exactly a sign of stability when you
Right.
actually go and license a serial killer's painting as your album cover.
Right.
You know, like only 2 albums, and they are fascinating to me because they are just a huge mix. Also, there's a lot of psychedelia in this. Of just
Okay.
of like if you like the shit where you could smoke out and just kind of stare at the sky for like 5 minutes, you're gonna like some of this.
All right. So it's kind of like the LSD album that we went through. Did we go through that?
We didn't. That was gonna be on
Oh
something.
yeah, we were going to, but I really listened.
That's a fucking great album. Remind me
Yeah.
to put that back on the wheel.
Yeah, put that back on the wheel. We need to go through that.
That was because me and you were trying to come up with pop albums. We both loved that.
And yeah, and so what we could do is put that on the wheel for Acid Bath after we finish that, right?
All right. So.
And then, yeah, because that way, I mean, because that's on my playlist.
Oh
like,
God,
constantly.
that's like I was so surprised how amazing that album is.
Production
yeah.
heavy, production great.
Like I'm not that big fan of Diplo normally,
Me neither.
but I'm like,
No.
Jesus Christ, where have you been hiding this shit?
Right. Like, why would you hide it and just do it now? Come on.
But then you're like, okay, you're with Sia and Labyrinth, and you kind of have to step up your game with Sia, especially.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And with Labyrinth, you kind of like you need to have a very specific vibe to make him work. So I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
And we can all agree that the Lil Wayne remix of Genius should not exist.
Yes.
Okay?
But I like Lil Wayne's verse on it though. It just didn't fit that song.
It doesn't fit anything for me. Like I don't know. It's too.
Now I gotta re-listen to it. Oh man.
Okay.
You get my
Acid.
gears first.
All right. Acid bath first, then you can take your LSD. Take your acid
No.
bath and then your LSD.
Right. Acid Bath and the LSD.
That's
I mean,
no. It's
this. So, what are the other albums that are on the Wheel of Death? Because I couldn't see it because.
Oh, it's just the ones I put in the chat before. Don't worry about it.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
There's only one growly one on there.
Sweet. I loved it.
And specifically, it's there because it's a female vocalist death metalist.
Ooh, okay.
And she is gnarly. So.
I like that.
That's just not something you hear every day where it's like, damn. So, all right.
Acid Bath it is.
Acid Bath, we're going to sign out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Killer Cut Sick Tapes. It's your boy, Handsome Fister, and
Mads, and you will probably watch us again next month after this comes out. Yes, you will.
Right. We have become monthly, and it's fine.
Yes.
Because we have other obligations.
Also, go heckle Mac and Trill over at Dope Albums as much as possible
Yes.
Mostly Mac
Yes.
though. Trill's cool. Mac just needs all the heckling you could possibly do.
And the thing is this was such a great, like, Killer Cut Sick Tapes was such a great idea that our organization felt like they needed another music show, which is
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah.
which I love.
Like honestly, I'm looking forward to the end of the year lists we end up coming up with.
I cannot wait for it.
Like the idea of like, and I'm saying like, let's try and make things sound like the year without music from the year even. Fuck it, because music from this year doesn't sound like this year even.
No. So many people are talking about quarantine shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's annoying, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
very much so.
honestly, just talk about the anxiety more at this point.
Yeah, and the depression and being locked in your house.
Enjoy.